Raven and the Gift of Daylight. Long ago, when the world was still new, the Inuit people lived in darkness in their home in the north. They had never heard of daylight, and when Raven, who traveled between the north and south, first told them about it, they did not believe him. Yet, many young people were captivated by the story of the golden light that bathed the southern lands. They begged Raven to repeat his tales over and over until they knew them by heart. "Imagine how far and long we could hunt," they said to one another. "Yes, and we could see the white bear before it attacks us," others agreed. Soon, the Inuit longed for daylight so much that they begged Raven to bring it to them. Raven shook his head. "I am too old," he told them. "Daylight is too far away. I can no longer fly such a great distance." But the people's pleas made him reconsider, and finally, he agreed to make the long journey south. Raven flew many miles through the endless darkness of the north. He grew tired and nearly turned back several times. But at last, he saw a faint glow on the horizon and knew that daylight was near. Raven gathered his strength and flew on. Suddenly, daylight burst upon him in all its glory. Endless colors and countless shapes surrounded him, and he perched on a tree to rest, exhausted from his journey. The sky above him was an endless blue, and the clouds were soft and white. Raven could not stop marveling at the magnificent sight. At last, Raven looked down and saw a village near a wide river. As he watched, a beautiful girl approached the river beneath his tree. She dipped a large bucket into the icy water and then turned to walk back to the village. Raven transformed into a tiny speck of dust and floated onto her fur cloak as she passed under him. He clung to her as she returned to the snow hut of her father, the village chief. Inside it was warm and cozy. Raven looked around and noticed a box that glowed at the edges. Daylight, he thought. On the floor, a small boy was playing happily. The tiny speck of dust that was Raven drifted into the child's ear. The boy immediately sat up and rubbed at the strange tickling sensation. He began to cry, and the chief hurried inside to see what was wrong. "Why are you crying?" the chief asked, kneeling beside the child. Raven whispered into the boy's ear, "You want to play with the ball of daylight." The boy rubbed his ear and then repeated Raven's words. The chief sent his daughter to retrieve the glowing box. She brought it to her father, who took out the shining ball, tied a string around it, and handed it to the child. The boy laughed joyfully, tugging the string and watching the ball bounce. Then, Raven tickled the boy's ear again, and the child gasped and whimpered. "Do not cry, little one," said the chief. "Tell me what is wrong." Inside the boy's ear, Raven whispered, "You want to go outside to play." The boy rubbed his ear and repeated the words. Immediately, the chief carried the boy outside, followed by his anxious mother. The moment they stepped out, Raven sprang from the boy's ear, transforming back into a bird. He snatched the string of daylight and soared into the endless blue sky. Far to the north, the Inuit saw a spark of light approaching. It grew brighter and brighter until Raven flew overhead. The people gasped in wonder. Raven dropped the ball, and it shattered, releasing daylight, which lit up every dark place. The sky turned blue, mountains gained shape and color, and the snow glistened brightly. To this day, the Inuit live 6 months in darkness and 6 months in daylight, and they always honor Raven, for he brought them the gift of light.